Hey, what's up? I know I said Saturday the weekend, but you know, it kind of went by, and you know, now let's move on. So here's the 5770. I appreciate this car because it made me appreciate how much I missed that 970 in there. But otherwise, it's still a pretty good card. It can run GTA 5 at 720p at 60 frames a second. That's pretty good, right? Hell yeah, that's pretty good. Low set, everything off. All the filters off, and this car will still be able to actually handle GTA 5 at 60 frames a second, which is actually pretty good. But let's move on. Let's talk about some things, about the GTX 970. Basically a continuation of how the card is and how it's operating, and some things I may or may not have found out. All right, so basically, you guys know the situation. I sent my other card in because it was crashing and all that stuff, and I opened the card up, and the fan is going because I'm running the benchmark in the background. It's not really benching, it's just doing stuff. It's just basically stressing the GPU. I sent it back because I noticed some liquid liquids on my VRM. So I couldn't really tell whether it's water or it was oil or, I didn't think it was normal. It didn't look normal to me. It's not something I've ever seen or I thought should happen at all. But maybe, unless it's oil and it makes it more effective, something in a thermal way. If it's better, then I guess okay, fine. But I didn't know what it was, and I thought that was probably the reason why the car was crashing all the time. I cleaned it, and then it would stop crashing, and eventually it would crash again. I opened it up, and it's wet again. I thought that was probably just the issue. It might have been, or might not. I still can't really tell yet. Probably not. But so I got the card. It's in there. I've been running it all week, and I've been testing it out, playing around with it. And I noticed a few things. All right, so the ASIC quality on the card is actually much lower. My previous card, I just moved the box. On the previous card, the ASIC quality was 77%, which is actually pretty, it's pretty high, I guess, reasonably high. And ASIC quality on the current card right now, which is actually a 71%, right? I ask you like it's a 71%. So this means that it can actually have higher default voltage and lower overclocking, more higher power consumption. None of those things seem to really, the default voltage is actually still the same, 1.2 volts. It's not higher, it's not lower. And because, it's probably just a little bit of a lower quality chip. And this runs the same for CPUs also. We don't have a program that we can see it. And you can basically test the CPU's quality depending on what frequency you get by what voltage you get. So if you get a really high frequency with a low voltage, you have a great ASIC quality in your chip. Same thing pretty much runs there. I noticed that I need to actually take the slider up a bit more compared to the other card to achieve a certain frequency. So basically I thought I could probably get it at 1.5 gigahertz flat, but that didn't work out, of course, just like the other card. And I can sit right around 1492 megahertz, which is definitely still pretty nice. It's same as the other card, so not really no difference there. It hasn't been crashing at that frequency at all. So I would have to take the slider up by plus 125 megahertz. Compared to my other card, my previous card, I would take it up to about 89 megahertz plus, all right, on the slider. Maybe it doesn't mean anything. I don't know, that's so weird. I've never seen anything like that. It's kind of a bit weird to me. Maybe it boosts differently than the other cards. I guess that's maybe how it works, but it's still really weird to me. So I need to basically take my card right now that I have currently to 125 for the same frequency, but before with the previous card, it only needed to be bumped up by 95. Whether or not that makes a big deal, to me it doesn't, because I still achieve the same frequency at 1492 megahertz. So this is pretty good. Now, I opened up the card. Before I did this video, I was like, you know what? I should open this card up and check it out. So I did. I opened it up, and the damn VRM is liquid again, and it's liquid all over it. And I'm like, oh shit, this is crazy. It hasn't crashed yet. So maybe this might not even be the issue for it, or maybe it just needs more time to settle in. I don't know. I don't know what it is. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if it's water, or it's probably oil, some kind of oil substance on that. So that's the reason why, if that does or does not cause the crash. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really weird, and it freaked me. I'm like, what the hell? When I open it up, I'm like, this is crazy. It's actually wet again, and it hasn't crashed yet. But I've only had it for a week, so you know, you gotta wait and see. And you know, if it does happen again, I'm gonna, I don't know. One guy said it was normal. Everybody else was like, yo, are you sure you're not leaking? Are you water cooled? I'm like, yeah, I'm water cooled. Check for leaks. I'm like, I don't have any leaks. So only one guy was like, yo, that's normal. I'm like, what? Are you sure that's normal? Maybe it's something new, you know, maybe it's actually oil that's coming out of it. I don't know. I didn't taste it. The card is working fine. I reapplied thermal paste. The paste that was on the card was actually kind of hard. I'm like, get that off. And I applied my own, and temperatures are pretty much the same. May have lowered a few degrees, but I can't really tell. You know, I'm playing different games and stuff like that. The card didn't go over 80 Celsius. You know, this will come down to how hot it was. It was pretty hot, and the case airflow. My airflow in my case sucks. So, but otherwise, it's still doing pretty fine in there. 80 degrees and below is pretty much fine with me. 85, I started to be concerned, but otherwise, you know, it's going on. It's pretty good, and yeah, it didn't crash yet. So that's a good thing, right? It's a good thing. Unfortunately, I still couldn't achieve 1500 megahertz on the dot. I know it's probably not a big thing, but just like being at like 1492 or like 1495 really makes the hair on my testicles stand up. So it's like, it really grinds me that I can't just get the few more megahertz to make it 1500. That looks so cool. Which actually, it would achieve that, but it's stable in GTA 5 and a few other games like Battlefield, but then it would crash in Need for Speed Most Wanted after 15 minutes. I even, at 1500 megahertz, I ran this benchmark in the background, Valley, and I had it on for 1 hour, and I was watching Netflix on the other screen. It was the same screen, was, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. I was watching Netflix and had that benchmark running in the background for 1 hour, and still, it's told me it was basically stable. And I went ahead and later on in the day launched Need for Speed Most Wanted, and it crashed 15 minutes afterwards. So I'm sorry, the fan went down. I thought it crashed. All right, it shouldn't crash though because it's at 1492, right? So so yeah, so when you're stressing, you're overclocking your GPU and you're stressing it out, just make sure you play with all your games, man. Because just playing with the benchmark alone isn't enough to really, you know, tell you if it's stable or not. Just play with all your games. Just do your regular things. That's what I say. Even when it comes to the CPU and overclocking your CPU, I would still say do the same thing. Stress testing and OCCT, you know, whatever stress tester that you use, doesn't mean that your system is fully stable until you try to do something else and it crashes. Like video and editing and rendering and stuff like that. Maybe certain games that require a lot of CPU usage. Maybe you use Handbrake to encode your videos and stuff like that. It would actually, you know, you'll be able to know and see if your system is stable. You know, all of a sudden you're sitting there and boop, it just crashes and you get a blue screen. So it can happen, and you know, just be thorough with your stuff. You know, when you're overclocking. Anyway, I think I blabbered on too much. The card is doing well. You know, it overclocks just like the other one, even though the ASIC quality is a bit lower. That's the main thing that changed in it. That really, I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. The default voltage is still the same. Everything is still the same. And yeah. So when it comes to Pascal, and Alice is asking this question. And I think I want to make a video. Maybe I might make a separate video on this. But if you're wanting a GPU right now, maybe just try and hold out. For when it comes to next year, when it comes to Pascal, I think you should definitely wait. If you know, if you plan on buying a new GPU, you should definitely wait because it's going to be a 16 nanometer and it's going to have HBM. It is going to be the next card to upgrade to. I'm pretty much excited about it. I'm gonna do another video on that. Maybe separately. Maybe, I don't know. As to when it's going to be released, I don't know. It's set for 2016. That's all I can tell you. You should definitely wait. I think you should wait. You know, because it's HBM2 and it's going to be 16 nanometer. This is going to be a die shrink. So we're going from 28 to 16. I would hold out. What you got right now, it'll be fine. You could do it, man. You could do it. So with that being said, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.